Good morning, ladies. I am just finishing taping my phone down because you can imagine it's not behaving today. But this morning, I thought, long awaited, that I would do my favourite fragrances because you all ask me so often, good morning everybody, you all ask me so often, what are my favourite fragrances? And I do have many and they all follow a certain pattern. So I just thought, what the hell, it's a Sunday morning in England. The weather is mediocre. I was thinking I'd still catch the sort of morning sun, but clouding over quite quickly. I'm off later. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's just shout out, Darwin. I've got to get that one right. Dwiwen. Dine. Okay.
Good morning, Tracy, Orlina, Karen, good morning, Helen, good morning from Korea.
Everybody, hello. Are we going to have Roger Gallet, Josh? Yes, we are. And this is also, can I just say, all men, all gay men, all straight men. I love men's fragrances. So on this little selection here, there's quite a few fragrances which actually are for men and not for women. So I'm oddly going to start with one of my favourite one of my favourite hair fragrances, because surprisingly, when I use this product, people say to me, what's that smell, Trinny? So I'm going to start with the woman, that mad woman who's a Kardashian hairdresser, which is, it's saying yes in French when you want to say yeah, and it's their dry shampoo foam. And it just has, it doesn't tell, it doesn't work. That would be really good, because I just bought one yesterday. See if I've got another one here. Hang on. See if I've got another one here. Soft mousse, that's not going to help, is it? Dry shampoo, come to me. Dry shampoo, come to me. No, that's not coming. Oh, this is so bad. Isn't that terrible that you buy one and it doesn't work? Hang on. It's going to come. That's so bad of them. I have to press it down really hard. I might get something out. That's a good way to start, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I need to destroy it now. No. Anyway, the tiny bit that I can smell, which I really wanted to use today because my hair is so shoot. Hold on. Give me a second to work this one out because there seems to be a fiddly little thing I need to break to make it work. I mean, can I just say to Mrs. Way that your packaging is irritating? I'm going to get the scissors to it now. Hang on, I have another one under here. Please let me have another one under here so I don't have to go through this torture. What's that? No, that's not. Come in. Okay. No. There's some plastic that's got stuck on this. And I will be definitely taking it back to the shop as I probably will cut myself. Come on. They didn't finish making the packaging. Something's happened. Well, forget that one. That's going in the bin. Back to the shop. I'm going to start with one of the first fragrances. Oh, let me say good morning to a few more people. So we'll get there in the end, all right? We're going to get there in the end. I'm just taking a while. Lindsay, Luana, good morning. Donna, good morning. Scottish Borders. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Kath, Amanda, Goya. Anne, Jodie, Alana, Sommele, Guila, Lisa, Cherry, Siri, Amanda, Dora, Sam, Monica, Guila, Claudia, Scott. Okay, all right, I'm going to start. And I'll try and get to questions when I see them popping up. But one of the first fragrances I ever wore was a fragrance called Fracas. Oh my God, it's foaming in the bin! Woo! It's doing it by itself! Shit! My whole bathroom is covered and it's not stopping. Okay. I don't know what to do. It's still going. No. I don't know what to do. Okay, hold on. Stop! Die! It's still going. No! dry shampoo. You've got to look at my bathroom. Hang on, you've got to look at my bathroom. You've got to look at my bathroom. Look, hang on. Look. And it's squibbling away. Oh my God, am I going to have a chat with that woman? I'm going to slip on the floor. I know it now. It's covered. I've got to just give myself a flat landing passage somewhere. Hold on a second, because I am really going to slip. We'll get there. I've been tortured by. I'm going to have to put a towel on the whole of my bathroom floor. Okay. All right. Now, this product that I do love, all right, I do love it, has to be said, has a wonderful smell. And it's the dry shampoo. Many of you have seen it. You just put it in your hair and you just mush it around. But I do this when my hair needs a bit of a lift. I do it, but also I do it when my hair feels smelly. You know, when you caught yourself in somebody else's or your own cigarette smoke, or you, sorry, I just don't know, I can go on this morning, or it stopped, or you just feel you've been in a bonfire. You can just put this on and it starts as a foam, and the smell, because we're talking all about my trying to convey to you fragrances today, is sort of citrusy and fresh, and not fresh in an air freshener way, just fresh. And I do have people come up and go, you smell great, and I think I put nothing on today, and then I remember I put that in my hair. So that's one of my choices. It's definitely not my top choice, but I'll go back, if I can get to my glasses, I'll go back to my Fracas, because Fracas, which is one of the very first fragrances I wore, and let me just tell you when it started. This fragrance is also the oldest fragrance I'm talking about. 1948. It's one of the oldest fragrances. Didn't start quite wearing it then, but it's got very interesting notes to it, because whenever you go up to anyone wearing Fracas, you can't get away from it. The smell is so memorable, and they haven't changed the smell since I first smelt it 30 years ago. And that's the joy of a small fragrance house. And Piguet, I don't know who owns it now, but the first thing you smell is a kind of a bergamot, little mandarin, and some sort of lighter green notes. And for those of you, I'm sure you all know a bit about fragrance, but many years ago I worked in Cator in Paris, which is a very old fragrance house, nearly as old as Guerlain, and one of their most famous fragrances is called Tabac Blanc, Eau de Caron. Equally men and women's things, but you get this top note, which are the lighter things that are the first things you smell. So if you go in a fragrance hall and you smell that smell going on around you, it's a mixture of people high spraying you, but when they actually manage to get something on your hand and you go like that, that's the top note. And then if you really want to buy a fragrance and you're making an investment, because something like this is £75, you really need to walk around, go and do some shopping somewhere else and come back and then think, okay, what's that middle note? What do they call the heart note of a fragrance? So in this, it's got jasmine, it's got orange flower as opposed to neroli, which is orange blossom. Lily of the valley, that sort of sweetness, but a lily of the valley that's really pure lily of the valley, like a sort of, florists used to make a wonderful lily of the valley, don't make it anymore. And then to kind of balance that out, it's got a bit of coriander. And then the base note on this, and the base note on this is a very strong base note, because this is a fragrance that you really, you smell somebody and it's that heady smell. It's not that light, frivolous smell. It's a smell of a history. So that woman has a history and I want to know it. It's that kind of thing. And it's got musk in it, which is the base of many fragrances, but a lot of them use a very synthetic musk. And this is a very good musk they're using. And then cedar and sandalwood, all those and moss, so all those really, foresty notes that hold the fragrance in and give it its depth. So Fracas is, if you're somebody who likes light and green fragrances, it's not for you, because its base notes take over after a couple of hours. And And it's still an incredible fragrance. I don't know if any of you know the fragrance. I'd love to know when you're talking to me if you're trying to get a permanent smells like the original Guerlain is now discontinued. It came out. Okay, I don't know the original Guerlain you're talking about. Tell me which Guerlain it is. My assistant, I'm not going to get her up on a Sunday morning this early. Just seeing if there's anything you would actually like to... I know, it was just so mad. That was so mad. Attacked. Absolutely attacked. Okay, I'm going to go on now to... this wonderful new... Let's go away from a fragrance and let's go to a scented candle, because we all love a scented candle. And I, for years, used diptyque scented candles. And I used ones from a hotel in Paris called the Hotel Costa, and they made their own candle, and you'd go in that hotel and you'd really smell that candle. But I've always liked smells that are quite kind of, I don't like things that are too sweet. So I came across an old friend of mine, started this fragrance house, and she was the one who introduced me to... Actually, I'm going to let these burn because I nearly want you to feel them through the window because they are incredible. But I'm just going to start with the introduction of her range because, yeah, that's where we headed to. It's still going on in the sink. Is this Pourri? Now, Pourris have got a really bad name because... You know, they used to be something that monks would create many years ago to get rid of the bad smells of things in monasteries. And I think that's actually where they came from. There's definitely where this Santa Maria Novella potpourri came from. But they did then develop into kind of TV commercials that you watch mid shows of those... I'll leave them nameless, things that you plug into the wall that create a wonderful fragrance in your home. Now, if you have any of those, just switch off now because I effing hate them. I hate any fake fragrance. My bête noire is to walk into a shopping mall and go into one of those scented candle shops and smell that fake, shitty smell. I love fragrances that I feel are real and that they aren't using too many synthetic things to get there. And you just walk in and it creates a mood, it creates an atmosphere, and you think, oh, this is just exquisite. So this product from Santa Maria Novella, which is a very old pharmacy in Florence, and funnily enough, when Theresa May, our Prime Minister, was in Florence, she was at Santa Maria Novella doing a speech, and that's in a very famous church. But this is like a church to me because it's the most beautiful pharmacy in the entire world. And this is what you smell when you go in the pharmacy. And I can only describe it as, it's just so divine. It's sort of got in it a lot of cedar, a bit of sort of, oh, just imagine you're just, cinnamons, cardamoms, lemon peel, coffee, eucalyptus. That's the kind of smells you've got in this. And I put this around the house. And I'm going to put it now because I made one of my rooms an office because we're so tight for space. 22nd October, have you signed up? We've done a Facebook for TRINNY London and we've done an Instagram. And on those two new channels, 22nd of October, we'll have some very exciting things happen. So please sign up. This you put around the house. I put them in little, you can see it's actually the texture. It's very damp. It's very, it's like damp earth. But it's so fresh and clean and woody. It's woody. It's like you've gone into a wonderful wood in the autumn, but it's not in England, and you're smelling the damp earth come up. But the best bit of that is the sort of way to throw it. So anyway, Victoria Cator introduced me to Santa Maria Novella because I went in her house 20 years ago, and it was in her bedroom, and I said, what is this unbelievably wonderful smell? And I'd open up her cupboards and it would just waft out. This beautiful smell, and her clothes would just gently, was there something there? So many years later, she decided to do a candle range, and I was really excited that she was, because I know she has this nose for fragrance. I know she's obsessed with real smells like I am. So she's done many, but I love two of them. So the first one I love here, let me just show you the design. La Litrone. There we go, La Litrone. So this is, have I got this one here? I want to just put the base. So this is kind of fig leaves at the top, then amber, and then bark at the bottom. So you just think of sort of Provençal evenings, fields of golden sunflowers, ripe figs bursting, the breeze of some linen coming through. It's just a subtle, figure-y, wonderful smell, not too strong. I think the amber and the fig together is just delicious, but it's the leaf of the fig. It's not the fig itself, so it's very subtle and not sweet, but you just go in that room. I'm going to put it now in my new office, and it's delicious. Now, the next one, and you know what I like about these two, is a candle is very good when it burns, and you see the oil come above it, because people can use soya, or they can use different things to burn a candle, but these candles, that you have that layer of what looks like fat going clear, but then when it means that it burns very evenly, and it means that the wicks burn down with it. It's just very beautifully designed if you're going to spend money on a candle. And they're about 50 quid, but they are two, can you see there's two wicks, and they last a long time. I've been burning them. So this one, which is Cuir Sacre, this is more fruity. This has got verbena in it and bergamot. And you just imagine sort of late night, smouldering evening, smoky nightclub, amber patouche, musk, you know, that kind of sex is just about to occur. That would be the candle. That would be the candle. So you get my drift, and there's another one here, but they're divine. I'm just going to have that one there for me. They're really beautiful candles, and I love a good candle. And £50 might sound a lot, but I tell you, I don't think it's a lot for how slowly they burn, and I think you get them online, victoriacator.com. Or victoriate.co.uk. Okay, now I'm going to go on to, who am I going to go on to? Any questions? Because Jo Malone candles, I say I love, but I think that some of them burn too quickly, and but there are some fragrances I love in Jo Malone, and I love her rose one, her sort of bitterish rose. That's just fantastic. Have you smelt the Tom Ford candle? Should we get on to him now? If I can lift him up from the shaving foam experiment. Let me tell you a story about this fragrance. I first encountered Tom Ford, and it's Portofino Neroli. This is the most expensive fragrance I'm going to show you, but I just want to tell you a little thing about fragrances, because everyone sort of feels they go off, and I have a friend of mine who collects fragrances. Collects, I mean, she has like 6,000. She keeps them in dark wooden chests and cupboards, but she'll buy things in a sort of Greek island on the top shelf of a really old pharmacy that have been lurking in the dark, and to her they're still okay, and they might be 20-year-old sample bottles. So she's taught me a little bit about fragrance, as well as a lovely man called Sandy Bertrand who used to run Caron. But Tom Ford Neroli is a particularly phenomenal neroli. So if you like neroli, which is orange blossom, it's just divine, and it's got in it bergamot and Italian bergamot. I'm going to put some on here on the other hand, because I need to just smell it and remind you of what it is. So there's sort of many, like, you know, we've got lemon here, and it's an Italian Sicilian lemon. There's a neroli, but it's a Tunisian neroli, bit of lavender in it. And then the base, holding it all together as a fragrance, is amber and rosemary. And it's interesting that it's sitting on the base of rosemary, but you walk through, and I went to Portofino this summer, and I do smell it. I smell the joy of all those mixed heady scents. It's fresh, but it's so delicious. And it's a fragrance I'm stopped a lot for. I was with my stepson, who I hadn't bought a present for about 2 years, and we were in duty free, and he wore some really shitty fragrance, like Davidoff cool ice or something. I hate those fragrances. I'm sorry, I really do. Men, please, when you put on, you go zhuzh zhuzh zhum, and then you come up to us ladies and you're overwhelming us with this, or it's on your hands and I'm going, ugh. Anyway, I love Zach, but I was like, oh, okay. I'll buy you one for your birthday. So I forgot how much this was. We're in duty free. And I said, you know, what about this one? He goes, I love it. And I said, fine, great. My stepson's going to smell gorgeous. Anyway, I get to the checkout counter. It was £215. Oh, but I hadn't given him a present for 2 years. So that was that. I'm just going down, sorry. I just want to see if there's anything. But you put that on original price only, I say. Now, okay, you're giving price. Now, Penhaligons, it's so funny that you're all coming up with things. So one of my, when I left Fracas, because I had about 5 years of each fragrance, I left Fracas, I did it from about 17 to 25, and then I went between Vetiver by Guerlain and Blenheim Bouquet by Penhaligons. Now, I think they still make it, but I love this fragrance. It's a men's fragrance, and where am I going to put it on so I can just remember myself? It's so fresh. It's lime. I get immediately that wonderful smell of limes. Oh, it's good. Wakes you up. You know, there's some fragrances you need to put on that will wake you up, but there's lavender in it, and there's lemon and lime. This started in really early, this is an Edwardian or even a Victorian fragrance. I think it started in very early 1900s. And interestingly, Penhaligons has changed. It's had quite a few owners. And recently, a few of their fragrances I felt are very chemical, like Querulous is one, but I find it quite chemically. And this is one I find so unchemically, which I really enjoy, and it hasn't changed. And it's a relief when a fragrance hasn't changed. But they have another fragrance, and there's one here I wanted to share with you, which I don't have here. I tried to order it, but it's Comme des Garçons number 2. And it's actually, let me just tell you what it's called, because I want to talk to you about it. No, oh yes, it's called Wonderwood. It's 70 quid. It's in a brown flat bottle, but it has nutmeg, ink, mandarin, a bit of tea, and Blenheim Bouquet have copied it, or one's copied the other, because anyway, it's an identical fragrance. So if you know Comme des Garçons, which is £70, I don't know if the one in Penhaligons, what price it is, but they're kind of masculine, leathery smells with a bit of church in them. Really, really good smells. Eau de Cologne, the original 4711 Eau de Cologne, one of my favourite Eau de Colognes. I love it. And I'm gonna, oh my God, there's a huge bumblebee! Sorry, oh God, it's no, I'm not scared of a bumblebee. I'm not scared of bumblebee, but it's coming because of my fragrance. Oh shit, it's really big. Come on, out you get, darling. Ooh, this is just not my day. Really isn't, is it? Okay, come on, bumblebee. Come on, darling, you want to get out. Oh, oh. Oh, no, I want to just save you. I don't want you to die. I can't stay in here. Oh! 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 And the candle was just about to go. It is. That's why he thought this was the flower house. Okay, where was I? 4711. It is so happening. Stan, this is like the James Corden comedy show by accident. So where was I? 4711. One of the original fragrances. But there's two others very similar if you like 4711. And one is Royale Imperial. And it is nothing nice. And the this is, I want to talk about this one because this is £38. And luckily for me, I'm going to put some on here so I can just remember. I smell, my first note I smell is wood, funny enough. But I smell a bit of rosemary and lavender mixed. And then it hits you a bit of geranium and a different type of rose. And then there's definitely sort of musk and cedar in the base note. But it is It is a beautiful smell. I've got to now smell some fragrance. Lots of companies will tell you to smell coffee beans, but what you have to really do if you're smelling lots of fragrances is you have to clear the fragrance through your nose, and you have to take, if you take fibres in, coffee gives a very specific change to your palate in your nose. So if you take something, that's why I've got this woolly jumper on, and I'm going to go and sniff those fibres. That clears my nose better than if I were to smell coffee. Okay, so if you like Roger Gallet, another one which does do a 4711 type of fragrance is Guerlain. They do Imperial, and this is something that if you followed my Facebook Live, I went into Guerlain when I was in Paris with Lila and smelt this. And where have I got? I've got an elbow here, so I can remember it. Hang on. Just let that, you know that thing that you always feel that you should kind of, you know, do that a lot. I waft, just waft. Don't push the air too much into the fragrance, just waft around. And, you know, go and have a cup of coffee and then come back and just see the difference in the smell. But this is more specific. It's definitely got bergamot in it, and I can smell some lemon, like lemon peel lemon. It's a nice smell, actually. I haven't put this one on for ages. It's less sweet than the Roger Gallet. It's really, really lovely. Really lovely. My top is lovely, Old Zara. There, that's it. Guerlain. So, now I'm going to go on. I'm going to go on to three fragrances from a new fragrance house, and I really, really, really love this fragrance house. And I'm sort of always late to the game in things. But it's called Le Labo. Le Labo. And I work sometimes in Shoreditch, as you know, and I was going down Red Church Street, and I saw this little fragrance house, and you went inside, and I saw all of these little bottles like this, and they have all numbers by them, and that's the kind of number of notes there are in it. So they're full of things. And it says where it's made in Shoreditch and who it's made by. It's made by Karim. Everything's made in front of you, so they actually take the drops to make the recipe in front of you, which I think is fantastic. They are £52 for this smallest thing. It lasts quite well. Their Santal is a particular, I've got three that I really like. So Santal for me is one of those classic fragrances because it's just the base note of so many, the sandalwood, or a middle note for some too, but it's just a very specific smell, and it's kind of, it's heady, but it's not sweet. And I'm just going to do this. But you smell, this is quite a sweet sandalwood. Just lovely. It's got, I think it's got cedar in it. It's got a bit of cardamom in it. And then there's a sweetness with a violet. Yeah, really good, really good. And the other one's Vetiver. So they do a Vetiver, and it's a different Vetiver. I got to smell something again, sorry. It's a different Vetiver from the other one. I'm just going to, where am I going to put this one? I'm going to put this one just here. Oh, I got it too strongly. It's a Vetiver that's so based on the concept of an incense. I am currently inside a Catholic church as I speak. So it's very different from my Guerlain Vetiver, which was sort of sweeter. But it's very, very beautiful Vetiver. There's sort of, it's that kind of clove, black pepper, amber, incense. It's really, I am inside a Catholic church. Vetiver 46. Then what else am I going to do? I was going to do, oh yes, very quickly. Now my three really quickies are Bonpoint for children. You know, you just have associations with fragrances. So when I had my daughter, you know, I was 37, I'd never had a child before, I spent a fortune on her clothing. And my biggest treat was to go to Bonpoint. And they would put her clothes in, and then they would put the child's fragrance like that on the tissue paper. So you've got this very subtle fragrance, but I have no idea what's in it. It's just light, little tabac, little orange in it. And if you know Philosophy do one called Grace, it's very similar to that. But I kind of like it. It's a kid's fragrance, which I think is absolutely despicable. You shouldn't, as children, wear fragrance. I think that's weird. But as an adult fragrance who wants to feel light and girly, I love that. Much more than a sort of Prada young girl's fragrance or something. This just has something, and I think it's better ingredients. And I think that's it. Is there anything I've missed? A little one here. I'm going to go back to Santa Maria Novella, because you just want to know about my fragrances. And Santa Maria Novella has two distinct fragrances. This is this Italian pharmacy. They have a little shop, by the way, two little shops in London, but they never put the prices on the site. They're incredibly tricky and quite difficult to track down, and don't like doing mail order. So I'm sorry to give you such difficult company, but if you can track it down. Then the thing they're most known for, apart from their potpourri, is their Melograno, which is pomegranate. And if you like the smell of pomegranate in fragrance, you couldn't get better than this. It's a slightly bitter pomegranate, and this is their bath oil. They also have soap, but I always stay with some friends. I used to always stay with these friends. This lady who has these wonderful fragrances she collects, and wherever I stay with her, she has that soap, and I think of that place. And sometimes fragrances are about memories, but they're about taking the memory back into your current life and enjoying it and just loving that sort of, you know, what it evokes. So perhaps you had a wonderful summer and you bring that smell back with you, and it makes your summer go on longer. So that's it, ladies, my little fragrance story. I hope you enjoyed it. I've now got to go and clean up my bathroom, so I'm just going to show you what that thing did to my beautiful bathroom, because the GIF will be out. So look, there's my sink. That's covered there. Cover. It's just, you know, it is what it is. Have a wonderful Sunday. And we are, we're 2 weeks away from launch. And I'm so excited and I'm so nervous. But I so feel that we're in it together. So that makes me very, very happy.